was paid to take out presidential form, interest form. He saturated the whole place. He polluted the entire space that confusion won't kill them. Then the money started rolling in. And we are talking about money that some of them even felt like they could use or they would use for their own elections. So it was a collective job, right? But right now, Tinubu is like that Oshupa's music. Sorry if you don't understand Yoruba, okay? I'll try and interpret it, all right? It's just part of my expressive analysis of it. It's a story of a chicken farmer who married a woman that was also very much like promiscuous, kind of like, you know. So she started dating a man that sells goats, and she wants to marry him. So they had to kill the husband, the chicken farmer. But how would they do it? The wife told this goat seller and his friends that in the middle of the night, they should come and disturb the barn. Once he hears it's a chicken making that sound, he will run or rush outside. Then they should kill him. It worked. They killed the chicken farmer. Then she married the goat farmer. Then she also started, while she's married to the goat farmer, then she started seeing Fulani Asman, a cow seller. And in order to go and marry the cow seller, they would have to kill the goat seller. So she told the cow seller that, you know what? You will need to get some people to come in the middle of the night and disturb the barn. Once you hear his goats screaming, he will rush outside and you will kill him. Forgetting the fact that it was the goat farmer and the cow herder that both killed the chicken farmer, her first husband. So in the middle of the night, the cow farmer, which is the cow herder, brought in some friends. They started disturbing the barn where the goat farmer kept his goats. Then he just felt like, they were disturbing and the goats were crying. His wife was there. Then the wife was like, won't you go outside and check your barn? It's like they are disturbing your, something is going on with your goats. Then he just burst out saying to his song, meaning the way we killed the chicken farmer, myself and the cow herder, should I die the same way? Now you can now relate that to that of Tinubu. He was part of the scheme. In fact, he sold most of the ideas of how to get rid of Goodluck Ebere Jonathan. Why was that? In 2010, when Yaradua died, and Ebere Jonathan became your substantive president, he was to run a year after as president to hold his own mandate, not here with Yaradua this time. And around that time, the pressure, in fact, was that Jonathan shouldn't run. That was the beginning of that deal, that famous talk that Jonathan agreed to run for just 4 years, one term, and return the power to the North, because the North felt so shortchanged that they couldn't do 8 years like Obasanjo did. So it was in the process that Jonathan beckoned on Tinubu. While Tinubu was promoting Riba Dump as the ACN candidate, presidential candidate, Tinubu was meeting with Goodluck Ebere Jonathan ahead of 2011 election. And indeed, it's on record. $2 billion, not naira, dollars, was ferried to the national leader of the ACN. They are abusing Jonathan outside, like campaign. And of course, when the election result was announced, Jonathan cleared the entire South in such a way that everybody was like naming their children, Jonathan, Jonathan, good luck, good luck. Or it was the vulnerable moment of Jonathan, vulnerability of power. Tinubu saw through the crack. So when they all came together to come and kill the chicken farmer, Jonathan, and married his wife, the power, right? It lasted for a while. Bokwari, unfortunately, is like a vice versa. Now, Bokwari enjoyed it. And guess what? They all defended Bokwari. So now, the power got interested. I mean, should I say, the cow guy, which is Tinubu, is interested in power. He's got the power now. To get Tinubu out of power, but I say the chicken farmer, the goat farmer, and other people that have been, you know, like impugned on, right? They want to deploy means of, you know, we'll do this, we'll do that. Whatever they did to bring Tinubu to power, they should undo it, because he called them urban bandits. That's
But he is talking about his aspiration.
But they're all checking each other out.
Well, I'm sure they would. I mean, we are politicians. We are students of power. So yes, they will do that. But nobody is talking about, I want to be the president, or you know, leave this for me, and so on. Everybody is saying we have a problem. This country is targeted for destruction by a collection of urban bandits. Let's come together, send them back home, and put this country back on track. Well, it is about fixing the country. Nobody is talking about his ambition. And that has been very good so far, and I'm encouraged.
Right. Well, I'm going to come back to that issue in a moment. Why the public mood is, because it is fair to say that many people may not like Mr. Tinubu, but many of them are undecided and are not necessarily convinced that people like you or Atiku or Obi or Kwankwaso are a better alternative.
Well, we have to ask the people to make up their minds. Do you like what is happening? This is just 2 years, okay? If you're happy with what is happening, if your life has got better since President Tinubu was sworn in on May 29, 2023, fine. But if not, why not give some other people a chance?
Well, the reason I ask that is because, I mean, I'm wondering whether you've carried out any sort of scientific poll to actually determine how popular he is. Because
no,
I remember in 2023.
Yes, we have.
When you were sitting where you're sitting now, and I interviewed you,
yes,
and I quoted the polls to you that suggested that Mr. Tinubu was only marginally popular.
Yes.
And you disputed that.
Yes.
But in the end, he could only manage less than a third of the vote, or around a third.
Yes.
While the two leading opposition candidates got collectively 2/3 of the vote.
True. Throughout the polling before the 2023 election, we knew that the election was going to be tight, very tight. But we were ahead. We knew we were going to be tight. We have done some polling. And I have mentioned some time ago that in many parts of the country, particularly in the southeast and the north, President Tinubu has 91% disapproval rating. Even in Lagos, he has 78% disapproval rating. Okay, in some states,
and that's a scientific poll.
It's a scientific poll,
right.
And in some states in the southwest, he's doing a bit better. Ondo, Ekiti is doing better than 78% disapproval rating, but there is nowhere he's doing better than 50%, even in the southwest. The guy is gone. He's performed miserably. The economy has tanked. The security architecture has failed. There are no clear trade, industrial, and investment policies. Everything is going wrong. They are raising lots of revenues, but we don't know where the revenues are going because there are no results.
Well, they say they're giving a lot of that money to the states. And
The
let's
states-
face it, development, you were a
the
governor
states,
before.
yeah, the states
are responsible for development.
They,
in many
no,
ways.
they are not responsible for all development.
Not all of
States
it.
are responsible for education,
Yes,
healthcare,
and
and
those
so
are
on.
key, aren't
But major infrastructure, electricity, you know, our rail system, our aviation system, the telecom system, is all under exclusively federal so far. So yes, the states are getting more money in Naira terms, but my question is, where are the results? President Tinubu went to Kaduna last week to commission projects. 90% of all the projects he commissioned were the project that I did and took to 90% plus. Okay? No new projects have been initiated and commissioned in 2 years by this administration, even though they have had much more money. So the question is, and I gave the example of Kaduna only because I'm from the state and I know it pretty well and I get a lot of data about what is going on there. But the story is the same in most states of Nigeria. Some governors are trying hard, but frankly, most of them are not doing much with those resources. And the federal oversight is very weak because the president wants all the governors to be in APC.
But they would make the argument.
This is the consequence of the vote you voted. And it's too early to cry now because actually the real problem hasn't come.
It hasn't started yet. Urban bandits. So when I heard the word yesterday, and I'm like, your 2027 is going to actually be, it's going to be lit. Like the Gen Z will tell you, man, it's going to be lit. You go here, fire for fire. Obi the fire here. Atifku. No. Amechi, El Rufai, all of them. So let them all come together to make it more interesting. They should make Peter Obi their presidential candidate so that it could just be like a two-phase thing. It'll be interesting, right? I'm just saying. Okay. So, urban bandits. So in my head, I am like, okay. So, which of these urban bandits are we talking about? Share the allegorical urban bandits. Who is also like a Adubo that have relocated to Abuja. Abi the MC Oluomo gang, who are like the singlet wearing, what do you call it? Extorting group, sure you get, the Jagbas. Abi na the Taliban bandits, who are currently also hibernating around Abuja. And if it is all of them, good luck with that. There is more to be worried about. If you like say the padded budget is not padding, no. There is difference between padding budget and there is difference between being able to cash out. In 2024 budget of Nigeria, it was discovered that there were 6,000 plus, which is over 6,000 fake projects that are listed and approved as part of the 20-something trillion, 28 trillion or so budget then. In 2025, the National Assembly, they were able to pad at least again over 3 trillion naira that is expected to cover over 7,000 fake projects. For example, projects like a polytechnic in Auchi to construct a street light, which will cost 266 million per one. Or INEC, Nigeria, building new palace for the Oba of Egunla. Doesn't exist, but yeah, just it's fake, right? And it's going to cost 1.2 billion. Abi, Federal Medical Center, Owerri, building new palaces for the people of Zamfara. Those are fake projects. There are many in their, share you get, and trillions of naira goes into them. But it's like Nigeria is already facing cash crunch. They said contractors are not paid, projects are now on hold, ministries are now choosing which projects to execute and who to pay. Something that they are publicly telling everybody that is a problem. But the passion at which they are saying it makes me feel like the padded budget is difficult to cash out, as they are lying to you that they have more money now. Sure, you get, people are getting more money, ministry, and I feel like say that is not only true. Let's go to the National Assembly. The first person to raise concern is Abdul Ningi. Remember him?
From the committee chairman of appropriation is whether or not we are experiencing revenues, shortage of revenues, whether or not there is no money in this country to pay up this implemented project. Mr. President, it is not about procurement. We have liaised as a house. Most of the constituency projects that I know of, almost 80%, were completed 6 months before today. And therefore, you begin to hear rumors that the Minister of Finance and the Office of the Accountant General are picking and choosing projects they will finance. It's not right. Sequel to what I have said, I think the Committee on Appropriation, Mr. President, should be saddled with the investigation of why
you have 1 minute remaining.
It is important, even though Senator Yahya said the leadership, we have given the leadership that mandate, nothing has changed. We need to do what is parliamentary, what Parliament does. Give the Appropriation Committee a mandate of 2 weeks to present before this chamber as to why what is happening. Lastly, Mr. President, this is Parliament. We need to be guided by logics. We need it to be guided by facts on the ground. What is happening is not backed by facts. I have no problem. There is necessity for us to address this issue, extend it, but we cannot continue extending all the time. This thing has become normal.
Thank you very much. Senator.
We are a poor nation. The bank coal will follow. They say firewood not food. They say we need to plant more trees. And they are not giving us money. We need to open our eyes, try shining, and tell the West. If you don't guarantee our finances and work with us to stop this, we are not going to comply with your climate change. They'll do it.
I think now statistic we go chop. A lie with arithmetic that no Indian can solve it. I think now
there is revenue problem. But like I said, if you see Ojuba Parabale, Arimu, they say if eyes relax, it goes in nose. And if you look at the kind of like the voice the body language. At first, he said the constituency project, 80% of the constituency projects were completed, meaning they have no reason not to give us money now.